I believe that we've had individuals in here that have given word that our parents are able to contact them for more information. And I think there's gonna be questions that can be posed to you that people will be looking for, you know what, what's next? So, I just wanna make sure, do you have something to say first, or do you just wanna open it up where I can just get these individuals, these students, to pose these questions, and we can get this dialogue moving?
So I know that for the BSU, one thing that I want to get that rolling, I want to get that up and going, get your constitution taken care of, because I know that that's very important. And bring in the community, have that be a part of what we're doing here with BSU. You know, UW-T has a BSU, Pierce College, PLU. And then I think also the education piece. Some of you brought up in the past curriculum as being an issue, some of the things that are taught in the class in regards to some literature that you're reading. And so those are things that I am aware of, along with some other things that you've said. So what else, what are some things that you would like me to be aware of and to address? Yeah.
So first I wanted to talk about what happened, was it yesterday, when we were in the office together.
Yeah.
And you said it's against the law to record a conversation without the consent of another. But that's part of it. The other part is that if it is not a private conversation, and it's a conversation where it's like a community thing, and then it's legal to do it. We've looked it up. It's not against the law for me to do that. And also, I felt like it was I wouldn't say unethical. I would just say that I felt like it was kind of wrong to have me come in there and you not telling me in advance what we're talking about, or because if you asked me to do that, I would have told you I'm not going to talk about that, and it's not my responsibility to go contact parents and other people when you have all the notes and information about everybody where you could have done it yourself, or JJ, but JJ's not here, so you're the only other person that could have done it.
Yeah. So for the recording, it's my understanding that it's a two-party. So you have to let people know before you start recording them that you're going to be doing that.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
Yeah.
There's two parts of the law.
Okay.
I don't have to tell you if it's an open conversation.
Okay.
And it's not something private talking about your personal stuff or my personal stuff. It's talking about my club and our conversation that we had on Monday. Therefore, it's community, and I don't have to tell you if I'm recording or not.
And to be honest, I was a little surprised that you did that too. And so, like, that trust piece, I'm beginning to learn that, like, from our meeting from Monday, and then also when you and I met, like, I want to develop that trust. And when you brought that out, I'm like, that was really surprising to me. And so what I'm saying is that I'm learning that that trust piece we probably, you and I, need to work on, and I need to work on with you guys. But
it's going to be hard to bring it back.
Yeah. If we're being honest, it is kind of good.
Adults are not engaged in a private conversation with minors
And then,
legally. There's no privacy for an adult in a minor conversation.
Which is true. And if you would like to have us talk to you, you would be contacting our parents and telling them that we're going to have a conversation and they should be involved, or at least informed about it. And if you wanted to have a conversation with us, then you should have more than one student in there, or you can have some, like I said, someone's parent there.
okay. And then the other thing is, what I need is, I didn't have a list of all the members of BSU, and I admit I should have that. Like, I don't. And so that's something that I probably should have asked for instead, is who are all the members of BSU?
But that's not what I was talking. I was talking about because we originally thought, all these people in here thought that it was a continuous meeting about what happened on Monday.
Right.
And that's
You
how,
said that.
because you said that during the meeting. But listen real quick.
Yeah.
So therefore, you know exactly, you know every one of us personally, and you know Robert. So you have our names, our facial, what we look like. So you could have contacted us and our parents. And if we needed to have the BSU, then yes, you could have said, okay, contact the BSU. But the BSU wasn't even involved in that situation at the moment. So it had nothing to do with it.
But I think my impression, this is just my perspective, is that it was going to be a BSU meeting. So that was my impression of where I was coming from. So I think that's where the difference is that I did want as many voices at the table. We just had six students at the table on Monday, and I thought it was going to be all of BSU, which I don't have the whole list of students. I should, though.
Well,
like to have that.
I could kind of understand why,
Yeah.
because since we don't have a club yet
Yeah.
officially,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And I also had a question for you about the Constitution. So
Yeah.
the Constitution asked for, as a requirement for it to get approved, to have minutes about, I think, wait a minute, if the club wasn't approved yet, and usually no one meets before the Constitution is approved, but we just did that, then it shouldn't have been required for us to do it if it wasn't required for other clubs to do it either. And I actually asked Logan about that too, and he said that they didn't have to do that. So it's kind of confusing why we had to do it, but other clubs did it. You know where I'm coming from?
Yeah, and I don't know much about the constitutional approval process, and that's something that I want to get to know more, because when I called the district, they said that they sent it here in November and they haven't seen it since. And so I think we probably need to check up and see where we are.
I just need clarification.
Yeah.
Amigo, you said that she said you had to do something. She gave you a requirement.
Yes.
So you are giving them a requirement without educating yourself first.
I don't think I asked you to take minutes. That's not something that I asked for.
No, I'm talking about, I
It's
think
an-
she might be talking about how you told me to tell everybody else about something that was canceled.
No.
I'm talking about
The
you.
minutes.
The requirements of
Oh.
one group and the other. You're saying that your group was required to do something that another group was not.
Yes.
And you're not understanding that, and you're saying that you don't know.
Yeah.
So who required it from you guys and not the other group is my question.
Janiyah can ask.
Yeah, so I actually had a meeting with the ASB lady the other day. She asked me about the Constitution. The minutes was something that we were having a problem with because we didn't know where we were supposed to get those from. And when I was speaking to her, she told me the minutes was a note to her from the board, not to us. So it's something she accidentally left on there. So the minutes is something we are not required to provide to become a ASB group. And she also said that once we needed to, she told me I needed to add a couple things to the Constitution, like rules and regulations. I also needed to add it, what's it called, election, how we elect people. And she said that we need to have an election before we turn in the Constitution. She also said that as students, we are not allowed to turn in the Constitution. Our advisor, who is currently JJ and on paper is JJ, he has to turn it in to her, like in person, by hand.
Which I had a question for you, Ms. Rodriguez. I know you don't know much about it, but my question is, if they had all these requirements, everything that she listed, and that our advisor should be the one to turn it in, how come they didn't say it in the first place? They just kept giving us little things at a time
That's a really good question.
and
Yeah.
let us turn it
Yeah.
in, thinking that it was
Yeah.
okay for us to turn it in.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to check on that, because what I would ideally want to do is to bring out the district, because it's finance essentially. It's going out to the district office, the finance office. So they're the ones who approve all the constitutions.
I know that.
Have them come out and maybe walk us through the process so we can just get it done there.
I
Instead of
talked
this
to them.
back and forth and
And
back and forth.
I
talked to
also
the lady
think
of
that
finance.
it's something.
Hold on, amigo,
Uh,
I talked to the lady of finance. I mean, it got to do with y'all and the Constitution. This young lady right here basically told you everything, and y'all got this information. You're dragging your feet. You're dragging your feet. That's all. I was the one who came up with this whole concept. So when you sit here and just get that spiel of these kids and me as a grown man, I'm just like, wow. Like and then how you say you're disappointed in the trust. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
It's me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sure.
No, I'm just saying, I am understanding from our meeting on Monday and from meeting with Kamiko that there is that. That's me realizing that.
Yeah, but you realizing that making these little mistakes. So this is only it. Like as a parent, I'm over those excuses. These kids are smart, as you can see, because we got a lawyer over here grilling you right now. But the thing is, like, they're done with the games. It's very simple, but like we got 50 billion clubs. One guy got 3 clubs. Like he didn't have to go through any of this. Let's just start playing games.
The history.
Yes.
you're
talking
Let's just stop playing games with this BSU and you at your power level. Do what need to be done. Do what need to be done. 'Cause it's not. And to go back to where you said you're disappointed in the trust. I am disappointed in you for how you did, how you lied on these kids, and how you talk to them kids. So my disappointment level with you, you'll never get my trust back, because I know for sure how you are. It was shown. I'm a grown man. You can flag these kids, you can pull the smoke over their eyes, not the one who pays taxes.
How are we to move forward? If there's no building trust, and I started the Heritage Club 2-3 years ago, and I didn't know any of the stuff either. I just, because we were going on a whim, I didn't know I had to do all this stuff. I just kind of was thrown into it. I didn't know there had to be minutes. I didn't know there had to be anything. I didn't know there was money that I had to, sign off for or whatever. I didn't know any of that. So as the advisor, I had to go to the ASB and have a conversation with her. So that's what I had to do, was educate myself as the advisor.
On a day.
I'm at a point, I want all of us to work together. I want us to collaborate. I want you guys to feel heard in the school. I want you guys to feel like you are safe. I want you to feel like you belong. I went here 20 plus years ago. There was issues back then when I was here. I came back here because I love this school. Okay? I want us to collaborate and work together, but if I hear there's no trust, how can we possibly move forward?
You're mishearing. Because nobody ever said they don't trust you.
Correct.
We just don't trust her.
We don't trust her. We don't trust
And
her.
also, can I say something real quick about? Can I speak on?
Okay, go ahead.
Can I speak on something about the advisory situation? So because I told you, we don't want JJ as advisor for many reasons, and also to educate you on something that he just told us about, and the district guy that was here just told us about, is there's a volunteer slip that Mr. Robert can fill out to where he could be our volunteer too, volunteer advisor. So you know that now, since you didn't know that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to tell you that, so now you know for future reference. Wait, you knew about it?
You knew? Well, I know that's online. What I want to check on is
No, wait, I have a question. Calm down.
Hold on. Remember, one at a time.
I had to push. So you know about it?
the form.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a form.
Then how come you said to Robert that has to be a person in the administration or a teacher or a staff member of some sort on Monday?
I didn't say that it has to be.
Wait, hold on.
Lots
Hold
of
on.
parent
Hold on,
volunteers.
Kyla. Mr. Robert, is that what she said on Monday?
You see what the trust issue is. Right. You see why?
Maybe she's just not
you see
remembering.
why our children
Remembering that shot.
My memory is on point right now. I remember everything
This
word
is
for
why.
word.
They feel they have to record it to play it back for you so you know exactly what you said. So that we don't dance around the truth.
You don't have to be a staff member or an admin. We know
We know
After
this.
you just told us that.
But if you knew this, then how come you didn't tell us a long time ago? Because Robert asked last year, too, if he could be advisor. No, you can't because you're not a staff or a person.
Were you talking about an advisor or a volunteer?
Advisory
Advisor.
volunteer.
I don't know if a parent volunteer can be an advisor. That's a good question. I think it meant like a volunteer in the building.
You know exactly
Just
what
a regular. Why would he just volunteer? Yeah, we need a new advisor.
Wait, come on, one at a time, and try and be respectful. Just gotta calm down.
He speaks. He ain't said nothing else.
Thank you, son.
What?
Go ahead, then, man. Go ahead.
She said before in this conversation, just like the guy from the district office said, that if you're the volunteer, you can be the advisor, but you have to have all the paperwork filled out.
It's the truth. I'm a volunteer.
Yeah.
So, and I had to go through the Bethel School District website. There's a form that you fill out and you just do a background check. And if you're allowed to be around students, and usually the BSU or all programs happen after school, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you should. Yeah, you're fine.
So I'm kind of
remember
confused.
I asked them that question because I've been a volunteer since my kids moved here.
Right.
I have a child that is autistic, and I spend time over there. And whenever they need me, they can call on me. I asked Nico that same question. Can a parent be a sponsor. We can co-sponsor this.
I can
They
fund
have parent
I can
support.
fund it.
Yeah.
The important thing is these kids are frustrated because they have been working hard for the last year to get this union off the ground, and they feel like they keep running into brick walls while they're watching some of their peers successfully establish groups.
A ping pong club.
Who cares about a ping pong club? Ain't none of y'all got ping pong.
Before a black student union where it helps with education and helps.
What you guys also have to understand is it goes deeper than just school. So you guys look and talk about, I want to build trust.
Yeah.
It's not just the trust. We deal with people that are doing this to us every day. And we also tend to think of them as kids. They're living the same lives we are and going through the same things we are. So it's not just trust with you, it's trust with everybody else too. So it's not as simple as you guys make it seem. This is a part of their everyday life, every day.
Yeah.
Maybe they can go play in that room because it's kind of like soundproof-ish.
Wait, is it okay?
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was about to ask a question. I'm just thinking.
No,
I do have a question for you though. Like what she said, like in our outside lives, I think that now that we are here and we're talking to you, in school every day, as the BSU, not even individually, just as the BSU, we get backlash. People during the assembly that we have put together as a group, we got backlash. Miko last year was handing out flyers and some dude was standing in front of her telling her that she couldn't. And we got people
Not even one,
talking,
a
we got
group
people
of
talking
boys.
at her neck, and they're talking about maybe we should start a white student union. It's kind of like, okay, but why are you coming at us? We want to be together. And my question is, just like the board was saying, they can't be in the school every day, but you can. And I'm wondering, how are you gonna I don't want to say force. Just how are you gonna enforce this zero tolerance policy, and how are you gonna get your people who are working for you, the teachers here, how are they gonna enforce it? Because you walk through the hallways, even as a teacher, and you hear it every single day. How are these teachers? Back again, like with Miss Womack, they're not doing anything. And maybe it's because they
can't
feel
hear
like,
it.
Yeah, maybe it's because they feel like it's not their place.
Hear
or maybe
it.
because
I know
they
you
just
did.
don't care at all. But I want to know, how will you put it into effect? Even if we have to do things to help, how are we going to put this into effect to make sure that these kids are held accountable? And I don't mean like what happened with the JRTC kid where he got lunch attention. I mean actual consequences, making
because it's a zero tolerance.
It's zero tolerance. It means suspension.
It's not
or
like we just
expulsion.
randomly came up with this. It's an actual thing set in motion where it should be used if someone's doing discrimination or being racist or anything like that. It's literally common sense. If someone says something racist to you, you don't want them to be punished, right? And the zero tolerance, you know about that.
Right.
Because you're a principal, so you should know about all the codes and rules, right?
Right.
So, him getting lunch tension.
I think what they're saying is, what are you going to do to enforce the zero tolerance that's being enforced right down the road? It's Spanaway Lake. Why are you not enforcing it, and how are you going to start enforcing it? It's a zero tolerance.
So when we get reports of things that happen, they're investigated by campus safety, by administrators.
What's to investigate? Sorry.
Why would they come up with it just like, oh, we're going to get this kid?
You act like we care about...
She's saying that you investigate.
Follow what you said what happened.
Okay, finish.
Let her finish to say what happened. Let her finish to say what
Yeah,
happened.
and a decision is made as to what the action is based on what occurred with the student and the investigation comes out with. And so that's where you make a decision on what the consequence is going to be for students.
But there's already a... Can I say something? Wait.
Who investigates? Who's the investigating officer?
Right. Campus safety.
Who's the head person?
He's
Chambers?
Well, there's no head. It's just whatever student comes and report that, right? We take their statement, we get their information, they list anybody else that heard it. We go to that classroom, we pull a roster, we get those individual kids before we bring this kid down, because sometimes you'll have a kid that have a problem with somebody, and they know, like, I'll give you an example. Had a kid last year tell me that there was a kid in the restroom had marijuana on him, right? So you want to believe these things. So we got the kid, brought him down, the officer searched him. He had nothing on him. He called his dad, who was a Marine. His dad comes down here, And the first thing he said is, why are you guys searching my son on something that another student had without any proof? And he had nothing on him. And come to find out, him and his son got in a fight last week. So he said that he turned it that way. So we gotta have.
We understand vindictive teenagers.
Right.
So there's an investigation.
Right.
And
So
then
you have to investigate.
And then you said somebody makes a decision.
And then now once we
So
do that,
who makes the decision?
and once I do that investigation, I turn that over to whoever that kid's administrator is.
And who's
then they take it from there.
Who's the administrator? Is it possible?
There's one they go by alphabet, certain portions of the alphabet.
So I guess
Jason's last.
hold on.
So it's the counselor.
Not counselors.
All right.
Yep, hold on.
The assistant principal? Is that what, okay.
It's
So-
the same breakup as the counselor.
Yeah.
And I would believe that the assistant principal knows the rules, right? So if it's a 0 tolerance, then there's no discussion of, oh, what should we give this kid? Oh, we should give him lunch detention. No, it's a 0
It should already
tolerance.
be written in paper.
Yes,
That's
that's
what
what
you got.
There is a
There
standard.
is, not that, it's
No,
right
I
here.
don't. No, I'm with you. I agree.
Do you
I
understand
printed
that
out
he got
myself.
lunch detention?
If
It's
you
not
see
in
where
court.
the trust issue
My
comes
mom
in,
printed out too.
Investigation came up with it, that was the decision that was made.
But the thing is,
But that's under harassment.
I'm sorry.
It's
I-
under so many.
I have something to ask. I have something to ask.
I got a secret claim.
Miss Rodriguez, and I have something to ask you, Mr. Johnson. When like administrators, like for example, a couple weeks ago, I had trouble with my administrator, Mr. Briggs, because I had moved out of the school zone, and he was like constantly, pulling me out of class and working hard to get me for my, the papers to be signed,
Right.
which were signed by Miss Rodriguez to let me stay here for the next 2 years with a ride to and from
Right.
school on my own. And I got my address change registration form in and all that. And the way he hounded me to do that, I don't see them hounding students in class, taking them out, like really investigating. Like, did you ever hear him say this? Have you ever heard him say this? And then that brings us to my second question for you. Has there, like, in your experience, you said you've been here since 2000.
19 years.
Before